Can I please have your attention? Thank you. Thank you for attending the meeting today. I'm going to start off with a prayer, and I'm going to call Tim Cash, pastor of the Cross, to lead us in prayer.
All right, let's bow. Father, we pause before you as the creator of all things. Lord, every person in this room, their story matters. And I pray that we would show dignity and love to our neighbor tonight. Lord, I pray in the name of Jesus, as pastor here at the Cross, I love this community. I love the people here. And Father, we really do want what's best. And so I pray that you would illuminate our minds. I pray that you would give great discernment. And I pray that, again, that we would treat our neighbor and our fellow man with incredible love and respect as we dialogue tonight. So Jesus, we ask you to please minister during this time. In Christ's name, amen.
Thank you, Tim. Before I get started, I want to thank all of you. It shows that Loganville does care about our community. I'm your mayor, Mayor Ray Martinez, and I also want to thank our staff for being here. They're all around. I also want to thank our city council members for being here tonight. And I also want to thank J.R. Connolly, the developer, along with Precision Planning Bills here tonight. And I want to thank all of them. How did we get here? In a nutshell, in less than 3 or 4 minutes, I'm going to tell you how we got to this point. Back in 2010, the city, downtown, was pretty much stagnant. Okay? So along with some developers, along with some city council members, and some business owners, we developed what we call the Loganville Town Center Livable Centers Initiative, better known as LCI. All right? The LCI, the purpose of the LCI basically was, and I'm going to read it verbatim. The city of Loganville seeks to develop a long-term vision for creating a vibrant and sustainable downtown by promoting economic growth, providing pedestrian-friendly mixed-use development. Mixed-use development, the type of development that blends residential, commercial, culture, and entertainment into one space and provides pedestrian connections. Who was involved during this decision? Well, we had the city leaders at the time, Mayor Ray Nunley, this was back in 2010, Mayor Ray Nunley, council members Wendell Geiger, Mark Perdue, Michael Lynch, Jerry Price, Dan Curry, and Eileen Worry. Along with business owners, nonprofit groups, neighborhood leaders, and landowners. The public hearings back 2010 were held throughout the planning process to provide the full community with an opportunity to inform the public. The mission of this LCI was to build upon downtown's Loganville strength, enhance its small town character, create a vibrant live, work, shop, play environment, and make Loganville a destination. After the city councils, along with the business leaders, passed the LCI, the city has been looking for many developers. Our former city manager, Bill Jones, I went to a few meetings. We were looking for the right development for our downtown. I remember back a few years ago looking for that developer. Some either had the right financial, but didn't have the vision for Loganville. Some had the vision, but didn't have the financial. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit. Back in 2017, I ran a campaign on Keep Loganville Building along with some council members. Some of the comments that I made were these, and I'm going to quote some of your residents back then in 2017. Pamela, Can we please revamp Main Street? So much potential. Linda, this town needs some big name restaurants and some shopping. Bill, Main Street is well overdue for a major makeover. Lisa at the time wrote, love other cities, wish they spice up Loganville. Your mayor made this quote back after he won election at the state, the State of the Union address, or the State of the City's address, and when I got sworn in. And I quote, we are going to do our best to get this downtown revitalized. That was January 11, 2018 during my swearing-in ceremony. The State of the City's event, I said this, I want the residents of Loganville to know that we will continue to focus on redeveloping our downtown. We have put pieces in place that we hope will help us find the right developer to kickstart the redevelopment of Main Street. This was my State of the City's address. There's no doubt that I have been focusing along with my city council on our Main Street area. After we got elected, the city council and the mayor and the city manager have been looking for some developers. We found a business owner here in Loganville. He didn't work out. I remember a few months after that, in 2018, late 2018, I had the city of Snellville call me for a developer that was going to develop a hotel down in Snellville. I remember me calling our city manager on a Friday night and telling him, let's go down there and talk to the developer. We talked to him. He had some financial. We brought him to Loganville. It didn't pan out. It didn't work out. A few weeks after that, I was at this event, and this friend of mine was telling me about Loganville. I said, you know what? We're trying to build up Loganville. He said, I've got a gentleman. This is a contractor friend of mine. I got a gentleman by the name of Tim J.R. Conley, that he's done some work in Metro Atlanta. I want you to call him, Ray. I called him the next day. Me and JR talked. He asked some questions about Loganville. I answered the questions to Loganville. I invited him to our great city. There, about a week later, he met with my city manager, along with Robbie Schwartz, along with my economic development, Lisa Newberry, and the relationship has grown to the point that we are here right now. Before I introduce Lisa Newberry, where's Lisa? Right there. I got 3 things to add, and she's going to introduce our council members too. I got 3 things to add. First, what is the mayor to profit? I ain't got no skin in this game. I don't have no land in the overlay district. I don't have no profit to garner from that. I don't have no profit. I don't have nothing to gain from this development. All right, so I want to just knock that out. Mayor doesn't have anything to gain from this development. Second, why isn't the mayor engaged? I'm not about to engage you on social media. If you want to engage me, my office is right down the street. You call, and I'll be delighted to talk to you about anything, development, transportation, anything, but I am not going to engage you to text or social media. The last thing, this is the council's policy. This is the council's idea. Please do not call City Hall and harass my great staff. It is not their fault. They are simply following our policies that we put in place. So please, if you have any problems, any issues, talk to the mayor and talk to the city council members. With that, I'm going to hand it up to Lisa Newberry, Economic Development Chair. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Well, I want to say thank you very much to everyone for taking your time to come out here tonight to our open house to see what's proposed for our downtown development. And just want to say a few words. Like the Mayor said, my name is Lisa Newberry. I'm a council person, and I chair the Economic Development Committee. So while tonight may seem like the first step in what will be the long process of the idea of redeveloping our downtown, which began back in 2009, when the city began with the study called the Livable Cities Initiative, which is what the mayor just talked about. So this was done to create a vision for the future of our downtown area, and after public input, the final LCI was presented and adopted by the City Council back in 2010. The vision was further supported by an effort that's called the Urban Redevelopment Plan, which the city created, again, with public input and guided by the Northeast Georgia Regional Commission. This was adopted by the City Council earlier this year. Along the way, we also created a downtown overlay district. We changed our noise ordinance, we changed our alcohol ordinance. You can now open carry alcohol on our town green or anywhere within the confines of our downtown area. These steps were taken over the past 2 years to create an atmosphere that will foster the redevelopment of our city center. And now here we are at another crossroads of our redevelopment. Like each of the steps that we've taken before, we're seeking input from the residents. We really want to know what you all think. And it's taken several months for us to get to this point. And along the way, all of these city department heads have had their input in this as well. So after the presentation from Connolly, each of the elected officials will be out manning the stations, walking the floor. We want to hear your concerns. We want to answer your questions. So I want to make sure that you all know who they are. So as I call your name, wave your hand. We have Councilwoman Ann Hunsinger, Councilman Danny Ford. Danny Ford also serves as your Vice Mayor. Councilwoman Linda Dodd. Councilman Skip Belisle. I don't know where Skip is. Okay, in the back, okay. And Councilman Jay Bowen. So again, we're here to answer questions, address your concerns, and we want to hear from you. So with that being said, I'll turn this back over to Mayor Martinez.
I'm going to introduce J.R. Conley. If you could come up with the staff, Amy and everybody, and he'll answer all your questions and concerns. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is J.R. Connolly. I'm the CEO of Connolly. We are a real estate development company that has been in business for 47 years in the Atlanta area. I'm really glad to see all of you here tonight. It's really wonderful to see so many people that care about their city and interested to see what's going on. We're very excited to be in Loganville. We're very excited to be working with the city, and also glad to be in the community. Have a clicker. So I have a few slides to go over the project, and we will take some questions, and then I'll introduce my team at the end, and they will be here. As you guys, I'm sure all know, we have a lot of boards and presentations of renderings and site plans and aerials and projects that we've done in the past. And so there's a lot of information here, and the purpose of this meeting is to share information so that you guys know what's going on and can ask questions so that everybody understands the project. Just a little bit about us. As I said, we were founded in 1972, developed projects throughout the Southeast, primarily retail, but land, office, and more recently mixed-use developments have been our focus. We've done more than 3 million square feet, over 40 projects. We did build the public shopping center just down the street at 78 and 20 in 1997. So we have been doing business in the Loganville area for a long time. We also developed up in Grayson the Kroger Shopping Center at State Route 20 and Rosebud Road. That's what we used to do, is primarily retail, grocery anchored, drugstores, that sort of thing. As retail has evolved and as the world has evolved, we have switched over to doing primarily mixed-use developments. We've got 3 projects that none of them are exactly like Loganville, but they all have the characteristics of a mix of uses, a little more dense style development, very pedestrian friendly. And those would be Parkview on Peachtree, which is in Chamblee at Peachtree Boulevard, Claremont Road, Marketplace and Terrell Mill in East Cobb, Powers Ferry and Terrell Mill, not too far from the Braves Stadium, and then Dresden Village, which is in Brookhaven. And my team members I'll introduce in a moment. Here's just a few pictures. Some of these are here. This is Parkview on Peachtree. This was completed approximately 2 years ago. This retail building and mixed-use building that you say actually is fronting on Peachtree Boulevard. Peachtree Boulevard is what used to be known as Peachtree Industrial Boulevard. Again, an area that has transitioned from primarily industrial to now residential, retail, office, and so forth. So we've got 55,000 square feet of street front ground level retail and a total of 500 luxury residential units. The architecture here is more industrial style to match with the area. We've got features like a bridge that you see here to connect two of the buildings. You've got a piazza in the background, which is heavily landscaped. It doesn't look like a parking lot. And then we also are bisected by the Chamblee Rail Trail, which is, we jokingly call it the Beltline North. It's nowhere near as busy as the Beltline yet, but is a direct connection to the Chamblee MARTA station. So our residents here can use the trail for recreation. They can use it to get to work via transit. This is Marketplace Terra Mill in Cobb County. This is a different project that's not as vertical, it's more horizontal. This includes 298 luxury residential units. It's got several retail buildings, 100,000 square foot Kroger Marketplace, and some shops and restaurants to go along with that. So not a Main Street development, but definitely one with mixed uses. Finally, about to start construction early next year is Dresden Village. This is 175 luxury units, 7 townhomes, and 25,000 square feet of ground floor retail on Dresden Drive, 1 block from the Brookhaven MARTA station. So this again is walking oriented. Is very heavily oriented on restaurants and creating an experience. Is what retail has changed. People don't need to go to the mall to buy things. They can buy that on the internet. But what they can't buy is they can't get their hair cut on the internet. They can't go eat and buy food. They can't be entertained. They can't have a fun place to be on the internet. So those are 3 projects that we have. We do have some other boards over here. And we have in particular some photos of the residential components of Parkview to further detail the quality of what the residential will be. This is the plan. Most of you guys have seen it. We've got a copy in the back. But for those that maybe couldn't see it because of the crowd, this is our plan that is in conjunction with the city. And does this thing have a pointer, guys? Whoops. So I will start, on the left is Highway 78, on the far right is Lawrenceville Road, State Route 8120. You can see coming down at Pecan Street, you've got a new town green with a library to be built by the city and a new city hall. And there's a beautiful rendering somewhere here today showing the city's plans for that. And the existing town green would remain, but would be augmented with restaurant, freestanding, cool restaurant buildings that would face the green. The one on the new town green across the amphitheater would have a rooftop deck, which would be great during events that the city has in the park, and just on a very nice day, it's going to be a very pretty view. The architecture that the city's doing for these buildings, I think, is really outstanding, and the way the kiosks will be integrated in the small retail, and the greenery of the parks, it's going to be a very pretty anchor to Main Street. Continuing down Main Street, you can see several buildings that are red. Those are all restaurants, retail, and some office. Some of them are 2-story, some of them are 1-story. We've got on both sides of the buildings here tonight renderings showing the architecture of those buildings. But the goal is to have it look like a small town that's developed over the last 100 years. We do not want it to look like a strip shopping center that would be on 78 or something that wouldn't be appropriate, but there would be nice sidewalks, there would be streetscapes, and the goal was to make it feel like a small town and have the excitement of what small towns used to have. Once you get behind Main Street, you've got the residential. And so we Closest to 78 in the bottom left corner of the plan, we've got 200 active adult residences, plus some townhomes. The active adult residences, that's 55 and over. So it's not a nursing home, it's not assisted living, it's just for folks that are empty nesters, their kids are gone, they want to live, they don't want to have a house, they want to live in a rental unit, but one that they don't have younger people around, and it's a little quieter, and just a lot of people really like it. The amenities are also geared more towards that clientele, to that demographic. The rest of the multifamily residential is there's 300 units, both on the top of Main Street as you look at it, and on the bottom, and those would be market rate luxury rental units as detailed in these plans over here. These are condo quality, very high level of finishes, mostly one and two bedroom units. They will be, the demographic that these are targeted to are primarily millennials and empty nesters. So it's not meant for family living. It's meant for people generally without kids. There will be a couple kids. We found in studies of these projects that a typical 300 unit project might have 7 or 8 school-age kids maximum. But it's generally for single folks or married folks without children, or empty nesters that for whatever reason don't want to live in a house. Maybe they have a second home somewhere else. It's a nice demographic. Unit sizes are roughly 750 square feet for 1 bedroom, 1,100, 1,200 square feet for 2 bedrooms. Rental ranges are approximately 1,000 to 1,800 depending on the size of the units. So these are not inexpensive units. These are people that we want to have, that will be enjoying the amenities of Main Street. We want to have people, quite frankly, that have money to spend, because that's people in that demographic tend to eat out a lot. Moving on to some of the renderings, this gives you a view looking from State Route 20 Lawrenceville Road down the new Main Street. You can see patios, you can see restaurants, you can see the varied architecture, you can see in the distance the new City Hall, and you can see the white buildings in these renderings are ones that are not part of the project. So you can see a couple of the area churches which will remain, that will integrate very nicely into our project. So the pedestrian, we say honor the pedestrian. This needs to be very walking friendly. We will have plenty of parking. Okay, we're back on here. But the pedestrian, the walking part of the city is extremely important, and the project is designed around that. So part of what is for the pedestrian sites is we have parks and green space for events and gatherings. The city already has wonderful events, and having enhanced facilities will make for even better events. Local restaurants, breweries, boutique shops, office space, providing alternative locations for people who have business ideas. The restaurants and the food component is one of the most important parts of these projects, and we really like to have local folk, restaurants, a brewery, something that is nothing against chain restaurants, but I think that Loganville and Metro Atlanta has a lot of them, and I think we need something different. We need something that's more local, that people can relate to, that people know who runs the restaurant. New sidewalks, streetscapes, and then ample parking. Our plan now is adding 150 on-street parking spaces throughout downtown, plus adequate parking for the project itself so it does not burden any existing parking facilities. The residential is hugely important to creating a successful Main Street. You need people. You need people to go to the restaurants. You need people to be on the streets, to use the park. Without more people living in close proximity, retail, quite frankly, doesn't work as well. And it may not work at all, it'll be very limited. And so the residential, and it also creates a new option for people to live. I have heard of folks that want to live in Loganville that maybe, they're a nurse or something, and they don't want to buy a house, but they're not satisfied with the quality of the apartments that they have. And so it does create a new living option for folks that's high quality, and is a high quality person that folks would want to have in their community. These are a few pictures of our parking project. This is a club room, which is a common area that folks can use. These are other pictures. There's a bedroom unit of a model unit to the right. Here's another few pictures showing the quality of the bathrooms. You've got very nice countertops, flooring, cabinets, lighting. The pool areas in this case is a luxurious saltwater pool that looks like you're at a Ritz-Carlton. It's really very beautiful, grills for folks to grill in. And so the residential is highly amenitized, very high quality. That is our presentation that we have for you today. All the boards that you have here, they can be seen starting tomorrow. We need to upload them, but they will be on our website, which is loganvillemainstreet.com. So for folks that want to get more information, there's even more information on the website than what I've gone over. There's frequently asked questions that will be added after this meeting. But that is a great source of information. And then after the presentation, we've got 4 of our team members. We've got Amy Wells, Brian Fertizzi, Megan Schmidt, over there, and Dave Connolly over here. And we're going to stay, and we will be around to answer any questions on any of the renderings, on the site plans, anything you guys have. With the crowd as large as it is, I'd be happy to take some questions if people have questions that they would like answered now. Yes, ma'am. The second row. So the question is, how long will it take for the project to complete? I can tell you our goal would be to start construction at the end of summer next year in 2020. And I would say that for what was shown on the site plan, it's some would open within a year, some would open within 2 years, and most of it would be done within 3 or 4 years, we would imagine. So it doesn't, the retail would be phased a little bit over that time period. That's a shorter build out, and then the residential typically takes a couple years from start to finish. And I don't know from the city's perspective what the schedule is for the city facility. I don't think they know exactly yet. Yes, sir, third row.
A couple questions. Number one, where's your demographics for all of this? Because you're way far away from the high density Atlanta area where you're at and perimeter area to where you're currently building at. The people that would be living in this aren't going to drive 35 miles to Atlanta. And there's not enough places for them to work in this area to fill up like this. This looks like a huge boom up.
Well, I can tell you that the market demand is there based on our market research.
Where's that research?
Let them talk. Let them answer the question.
So the research, I can't, it's proprietary, I can't share it with you, but I can tell you that we would, I can't right now.
That's great.
I mean,
That's
but,
like, we're going to pass this plan, but we won't know what's in it until we can't.
no, the plan is is what you see there. I think that's very clear. Our company has been in business for 47 years. We've been through all the recessions. We've not had any bank foreclosures. We're very careful about the projects that we do. I can tell you that there's demand for this product. This is certainly different than the inside the perimeter markets that you're referring to. But also, there's no product that's exactly the same that's going to offer the Main Street quality of life experience that Loganville will. Now, if you look at more upscale apartments, all you have to do is look down 78, look up 20 towards Grayson. There's several new projects that are under construction, that were financed, that are leasing up. And we strongly believe that there is a demand. And it's our money. We put our money behind it. And I promise you, we wouldn't build it if we thought it was going to be a boondoggle or not going to work.
I have no interest in something that's not going to work.
All right, next question, please. Go ahead.
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
It's all nice and well, but my main concern is the traffic. There are plenty of traffic already.
Can't stop building tracks.
So much traffic that I don't see any widening of the streets, or I just don't imagine how it's going to get worse than it already is with all of this development. And that really worries me because I have teenage drivers in my household, and it's already bad enough, and I would like to know what you think about that.
Sure, it's a great question. I can tell you, number one, as part of the DRI approval process, which is Development of Regional Impact, we go through the Georgia Mountain Center Regional Development Commission. And what part of the main review that they do is traffic. And so we have a traffic study underway right now. I don't have the results on it. It should be ready in about 60 days. And so I, like you, would like to see the results of the traffic study, and that's why they have that procedure, so projects that are major, like this one would be, they can review the traffic. I can also tell you that I do know Georgia DOT has plans for significant improvements on 78 and 20. Now, we all know that those plans have been talked about for 25 years and nothing's happened, but I think that it has to happen. And I know they're actively working on it. Plus, there's plans on State Route 20 for improvements for widening in that intersection. So I can address the traffic questions more in 30 or 60 days when our traffic study is done. I can also say that, and look, we all know traffic. We all drive around and deal with it. That mixed-use developments do offer the opportunity for people to have alternatives in getting in their car and driving to go eat and work and do different things. So now, is the net effect going to be more traffic? I won't say that it's not. But there is some reduction of trips than you would see against a more sprawled out development. So we will be, the traffic study will be public information at the appropriate time. Thank you. Yes, sir.
We just renovated that school down here for the new city hall.
Right.
Tear it down.
So, yes, we would be tearing down the existing,
Our tax dollars fixed that, and our taxes went up over $200 this year.
He's trying to ask the question. You'll have your turn.
That's all I'm gonna say.
I can't, Mayor, the question may be better for you on tax dollars, but I can't say the current plan would be.
We just renovated the school down here for a new city hall at a big expense. Now we're going to tear it down.
We did not, we bought the school about 3 or 4 years ago. Where's Danny Roberts? You correct me if I'm wrong, Danny. We did not know about this development. The good thing about that school is that we own the property, and they're willing to buy that property that we own. All right? So, go ahead, Dan. Why don't you jump in?
We are not going to sell the city hall property at a loss. You're not going to lose, we are going to sell it at a gain. It's not like the money that's gone to City Hall is going to go away. We're going to get it back at a very significant 3-digit percentage. We can't disclose the details, but we're not going to dump the hall and lose all the money that everybody's put in.
Thank you, Ann. All right, next question. Right here.
I think as citizens that are already here, that we really understand that we would like
Well, I think that we're adding 150 parking spaces on street as part of the project, so, the restaurants will be, not just new people will go to the restaurants and retail, it's going to be geared towards look, the bulk of the people that come to our project are going to be those that are already living here, so you can't gear something just to new people. You want to gear it towards everybody. And somebody mentioned family oriented. It's going to be family oriented. It has to be family oriented.
That's right.
All right, we're going to get 3 more questions right here, starting with you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, as the woman was saying, how many units, how many apartments, townhomes, all in total? How many are you going to do?
So 600 of the market, what we call market rate luxury residential, approximately 200 of the active adults, and then approximately 30 for sale townhomes.
So about 830 new residences you're going to do?
Correct.
And you're saying a range between $1,000 and $1,800 a month?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't understand how, this looks like where I just let my daughter live here, and she's paying $2,200 a month, and not many of her buildings do they have an indoor pet spa. Nowhere. Or a small water resort style pool. And she's got a nice place, but it's $2,200 a month. I can't see you being able to rent something, even just, doing right down in Grayson, and you're going to bring up down there. They're going for $1,400, $1,600 a month to start. They have nothing like this, nothing. I'm just afraid our taxes are going to go up, because we're going to have to pay for the things that are going to be, rented out.
Thank you.
100, that's not much lower than what we're going to be renting for, and we'll have the benefit of being on Main Street with all the amenities of Main Street, which they don't have.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Based on what I've heard so far, this has been something that's been in the works for quite some time, and based on what everybody's talking about this evening, this sounds like it's already a done deal.
Yep.
Yeah, no, all I can say is it's not a done deal.
That's not what it sounds.
Well,
That's not enough pay for the development.
Right, yeah.
See, the townhomes that you're building, how many did you say they are? Are they the only ones that are going to be for sale? And what price point will they be in?
we don't have a price point determined for those, and those are the only other units for sale. We do hope to, over time, as property permits, to be able to add additional property, and we'd like to see more townhomes or more single family in downtown, and quite frankly, if we do it or somebody else does it, that would be, I think that the amenities that downtown will offer will create a vibrant market for that kind of product.
How many retail spaces? Retail spaces?
Retail spaces, it's a total of about 90,000 square feet of retail and commercial space. So, you're probably talking about 12 restaurants, 30 other shops, and offices on top of that. It depends on how big each individual unit would be.
We have retail spaces sitting vacant now.
Right.
So that is not included in our project. Each of those are individually owned. And typically what we've seen in these projects, you see it in Lawrenceville, is that as improvements come in the area on the street, and as our rents, quite frankly, will be much higher than theirs, they will be motivated to renovate their buildings, and they will get more rents and have more tenants. So it should improve everything on Main Street, for sure.
That's my last one. That's it. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, thank you for your comment. We appreciate that. So, in the interest of everybody's time, Our team is here, city council folks are here, and we will be here as long as folks have questions. So thank you very much for coming out.
This is not going to be the only public hearing we're going to have. We're going to have plenty more in January. We're probably going to have another one in January. Our job is to keep you informed. Thank you. JRs will be around. Thank you.